T-G-I-F.
That's right.
Those are our favorite letters today. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silber here with Lauren Coleman. She's the regular. Tim Buckley is the guy who's been filling in a lot, and we love having you here.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks for
Eric
watching
Chilton's
us.
having a good time somewhere.
Yes, he's in New Orleans.
I don't know.
Okay,
Check his
yes.
social media. I'm not sure.
Too much fun.
Can't wait to hear more about his trip, but the weather, that's the big story of the day.
Yeah, you know, it's been getting colder and colder, and we're going to stay getting colder through the weekend, so you better be bundling up heading out there for Saturday.
All right, look forward to seeing your forecast in just a minute, but first let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup. Guilford County deputies say they have arrested someone who was shooting in a neighborhood this morning. Someone called 911 just before 8 near Summit and High Cone. In this video, you'll eventually see a deputy with a gun walking through a front yard. Deputies eventually arrested someone, but they would not elaborate. We do know no one was hurt.
An update on those skimmers found around Guilford County. Last week, High Point police reported card skimmers at 2 Walmart stores. Now we know skimmers were found in Walmarts in Greensboro, the stores on Windover Avenue and Battleground Avenue. Investigators say they've received more than 200 reports of fraud because of those stolen EBT card numbers. The state is working on trying to work on a way to get benefits back to those who lost them. Yadkinville police say the driver of a box truck who was involved in a school bus crash on Tuesday has been charged. They say Sylvia Grice from Thomasville, North Carolina, is charged with a stoplight and unsafe movement violation. Police say a bus with students on board crashed into 2 trucks near Highway 601. Fortunately, no one was injured. Police say the bus crashed into a box truck, then an unoccupied food truck. The collision pushed the bus into an apartment building. A tow truck got the bus out of the building, and all the children are now at school. The urban loop is finally starting to come to completion. Traffic changes started today to open the last section of the loop. North Elm Street traffic coming from Pisgah Church Road will be able to use the new permanent loop ramp to access I-840 West. The ramp is set to open today so that contractors can make a lane shift that'll aid in the completion of the final portion of the loop. This afternoon, they were still working on it. The final sections of the 49-mile loop will open January 23rd.
Well, if you're out and about heading into tonight or into this weekend, you're really going to have to bundle up. Cold weather is going to be kind of the theme over the next couple of days, especially compared to where we've been. Remember, it's been pretty warm outside. For this afternoon, we've had partly cloudy skies. That will continue here. 46 is your current temperature, and that temperature has actually been falling throughout the day. Earlier this morning it was in the 50s, now it's in the 40s. And North Carolina finally getting a little taste of snow. I know this is tantalizingly close if you're a snow lover in the Triad, but we're looking at Beech Mountain, live view up there as people are going down the slopes in some natural snow. They also do a lot of snow making, but there is snow falling from the sky up in those higher elevations. Now, nothing here at the moment, but I will show you something. Overnight tonight, as temperatures start to drop and get colder into the 30s, there is a little something showing up on our futurecast. This is around midnight, 11 o'clock or so. Notice a couple of snow showers are popping up between Raleigh, Burlington, and Reedsville. This is possible that you could get a couple of scattered snow showers between Greensboro and Raleigh overnight tonight. Now, you'd have to stay up really late, and you'd have to look at the street lights to see it coming down, but it's something, and we haven't had any flakes yet this year, so I'm just letting you know about that possibility. I'm not expecting a big accumulation or any problems, of course, but it might be fun. So keep an eye out if you live east of town in Greensboro. As far as the rest of the weekend goes, here's what we see for tomorrow. It's cold in the morning, and those smaller numbers on the bottom of the screen, that's the wind chill. So throughout the whole day, it's going to feel like it's in the 30s with a high temperature of 42 and pretty brisk winds.
Have you looked at the calendar yet today? There are all sorts of things to watch out for on Friday the 13th. Some say it's one of the most unlucky days of the year. You might be wondering where it comes from.
Today, people will avoid getting married, traveling, and even working because it's supposed to be unlucky. So why did people become so afraid of Friday the 13th? Let's connect the dots. The number 13 has a long history of being the odd one out. Historians aren't 100% sure when this all started. They think it might be from when the calendar was created. 12 just worked out so well that an oddball prime number following it just seemed out of place. And Fridays have supposedly been unlucky since biblical times. It's supposed to be the day of the week that Jesus was crucified. So when the two collide, a lot of people think it's a recipe for disaster, which is just bad news since any month that starts on a Sunday will have a Friday the 13th. And that's connecting the dots.
So Friday the 13th has inspired countless superstitions. I asked you on my Facebook page, what superstition do you believe or did you believe growing up? Nafisa says, my grandma had so many, never put a hat on the bed. It's bad luck. Sue Harris, knock on wood, don't tell a bad dream before breakfast or it becomes true.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anthony Medina wrote, don't let anyone sweep your feet. Michael Younger, a broken mirror brings 7 years of bad luck. Now that's a common one. I'm sure a lot of us heard as a kid.
Speaking of as a kid, there were 2 that I would do as a kid. One, hold your breath when you go past a cemetery.
Okay.
You have to hold your breath while you go past the whole thing.
Ooh.
So if it's a big cemetery, you got to really take in a good. And then the other one was lift your feet off the ground when you're when you're driving over railroad tracks.
Oh,
Really?
why is that? What's the cause?
idea.
Just something that you
Why
heard?
do we do anything?
Right, exactly.
We would hold our breath when we went over a bridge over a river.
Oh.
And I don't know why we did that. I don't
Just
know.
in case you went over,
Yeah,
you wouldn't have to.
that you could, float in the water or
Reserving up,
something.
right?
So the
How do
last time we talked about superstitions, I told you how I don't split the pole, if there's a pole in the
That's right.
street.
Yes.
But then I was thinking about some other superstitions that my parents used to tell us growing up. So say if you're dating someone and they get you shoes for Christmas or for your birthday, that means they're gonna walk out of your life.
What?
And if someone gets you a watch as a gift, like a significant other, that means your time is running up.
Wow.
And I hadn't even thought of those until I said, wait, those are some funny ones to share. You guys have never heard of those before?
Never.
Yes.
No, but I really like it. I think that's very funny.
But I mean, if you get cologne as a gift, it just means you smell, right?
Yeah,
bad.
it just means you need a little sprucing up. And then another one my mom used to talk about is, my mom is all about ironing. Like as a kid, we had to iron our clothes before school. If she saw any wrinkle, go back upstairs and iron. But on New Year's, you don't iron your clothes because that means you're gonna iron someone out of your life.
Wow, so many very interesting things that you grew up with.
Ooh. There are a lot of superstitions around that first day of the year. We were talking about this a couple weeks ago, right? You have to eat certain things. You can't. Someone said don't do laundry, correct?
Yes.
Right? All those different things that are maybe part of cultures or something. It's interesting.
I have this weird one that I still do to this day, and every time we hit a new month, I have to say lucky, lucky, lucky. So lucky 3 times as the first thing I say of the new month.
You've been doing this for
I've
a
been
long
doing this
time?
for many years.
Since you were a child?
No, probably since I was maybe in my 20s.
So you wake up and go, lucky, lucky,
I'm
lucky
usually
in the
up
mirror?
past midnight,
Oh, okay.
so like I have to wait until it hits midnight and then I say it has to be the first thing I say.
Nice.
I have no reason why I do it, but I do it.
We'll be right back. We have all been on the road and noticed that car in front of us that's swerving from side to side or making those erratic stops. Eventually, you realize the driver was doing something like this.
I mean, I don't even see what the big deal is. My generation was made to do this. Like, it's whatever. Same thing with hair. Like, I don't have time to just like do it before I leave. It takes a long time to like get this put together, you know?
So Kathleen Mock from Mount Airy created this video 3 years ago to show the dangers of distracted driving. The video won her a $750 scholarship from Alliance Insurance Services. Ahead of Distracted Driving Awareness Month in April, the company will award scholarship money to 3 new Triad seniors who produce the best videos on the dangers of distracted driving.
So Distracted Driver Awareness Month is an awareness campaign put on not only by the Highway Patrol, but the insurance industry to bring awareness to our drivers on the road about paying attention, not using your phone or other distracted types of driving, including reading newspapers and putting on makeup and eating and all the other things that we do in our cars.
The organization says teen drivers are nearly 3 times more likely than adults to die in a car crash. Though it's a serious subject, scholarship organizers want submissions to be fun.
You know, talking about all the things that can go wrong in a vehicle isn't a laughter kind of moment usually, but we all can use a little laughter for our souls. So I hope that they can make me smile while still addressing a very serious topic that is important to all of us.
First place will get $1,750, second place will receive $900, and then third place will receive a $350 scholarship. Video submission can be up to 3 minutes in length and must be submitted by the 31st, and then those winners will be announced on the first week of April.
I love this because, you know, I feel when I was a child or a teenager, I took messages more seriously when I heard them coming from my peers.
Yes.
Rather than my teachers or my parents. I think just that peer-to-peer interaction and warning is much more effective.
That's definitely true, because I know a lot of times growing up I'd say, my friend said XYZ, and my mom said, I've been telling you that, but you had to hear it from someone else. I also think this is a great way to get participation for a scholarship. You know, a lot of times you have to write some type of essay, but what a fun way to make a video, and it can be fun. And as you saw the video that I showed you with the winner from 3 years ago, she used her phone. It looked like she did it on her own. It was about a couple minutes long, so not hard to do. And you have 3 chances to win, so why not do it?
I would say that distracted driving is an epidemic.
Yeah.
I mean, I see people on the road, and granted, yes, I'm guilty of distracted driving sometimes, but I do my best to not have my phone in my hands, texting whatever social media while I'm driving. I try to save it for the stoplights.
I try to as well, and now a lot of the cars have Apple Play, which is huge because you can see the text messages go across your screen, so you're not constantly looking down and keeping your eye off the road. Well, in addition to distracting driving, we all have other things that might tick us off on the roadway. So I asked you on my Facebook page to sound off on your biggest driving pet peeves. Marcy Watkins says people who go at the speed limit or just at the speed limit in the left lane passing. Beverly Barnes wrote, why do y'all never use your turn signals? That's a good question. Jeff Griffin says, weaving in and out of lanes only to end up at the signal light together, LOL. Dave Warden says people who drive in the fog or rain without their lights on. Sandy Allen wrote, everybody needs to chill. Sandy, I couldn't agree more, because my biggest pet peeve is when people tailgate me, when people ride my bumper, because I feel like they're trying to intimidate me. They feel like the closer they get, the faster I'm gonna go or move over, especially when I had my Corolla before I had my truck. You would have these huge trucks behind you, and it does make you a little insecure and want to drive off. But I hate that, like, back off.
I have a question for you,
Tap
though.
your brakes a little
I was
bit.
going to ask.
No, I'm not trying. I know, I've seen people do that.
You slow down if they're on your butt.
I don't even want to risk it, but I dated someone who used to do that, and it used to really annoy me. I'd be like, stop doing that, but he would just get on the brakes and make the person behind him upset.
I mean, if you want to get in a fight, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and people out here are crazy, so I'm not doing all that.
I've lived a couple different places. Everywhere I've lived, maybe you have the same experiences. Everywhere I've lived, people say, oh, the drivers here are crazy.
Yeah,
right.
everywhere.
The drivers are bad everywhere.
Just like the weather,
right?
it's crazy everywhere.
That's right, yes. I definitely don't like when people are too aggressive. I also don't like if they go too slow. Like, don't block the lane.
That's the
if
New
you
Yorker
can.
in you.
Well, I mean,
He's honking as soon as it turns green. It could be
gonna-
green for 0.2002 seconds. Tim is honking.
I'm not wasting time. But I do want you to stay out of the left-hand lane if you can.
Yeah.
If you can.
I
Safety.
I am all about the not using the blinker if you're turning right. If you're in front of me turning right.
But even using it turning right, you said you don't mind if they're turning right and they don't use the
No,
blinker?
that's when I want them to.
Okay.
use it.
I was about to
Yep.
say that could cause some
If
issues.
it's going to impact my ability to sustain my speed, you better give me a heads up that you are going to impact it.
You got to use your blinker, but also keep a level head out there. We don't want to get in fights.
Yeah, and those motorcycles, stop zooming in and out of the lanes.
Me.
That's
go all
another
day.
one that bothers me.
We'll be right back.
All right, well, the weather is a lot calmer than at this time yesterday. Remember, that's when we were warm and humid and we had those thunderstorms rolling in. Today has had a lot more blue sky than yesterday. A couple of puffy clouds along the way as well. And you're noticing they're coming in. This is from the north to south. So our wind direction has shifted around and that's bringing in that colder air. Still waiting on the high temperature officially to report for today, but our numbers are going to be a little bit above average because we were still in the 50s before sunrise. There has been snow flying in the North Carolina mountains today, and I want to explain a little bit why there could be a couple of snow showers for the first time all winter in central North Carolina. This is the water vapor loop. It's kind of like an X-ray of the atmosphere. And see this kind of swirling motion right here near Atlanta and then getting closer to us? As this swirls into our area, it could kick off just a couple of scattered showers near Raleigh and really east of Greensboro overnight. It'll be cold enough that whatever falls from the sky should have a chance to be mixed with rain and snow. So here's the timeline. This is around 11 o'clock, basically from Greensboro, Reedsville, east, Greensboro, Raleigh. In between there is where you could get a couple of these scattered snow showers from about 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. It's not a big deal. It's not that exciting, but if you're up late, you might be able to see it fall from the sky. maybe a tiny coating on elevated surfaces. That would be about it, but let us know if you see that. The mountains will continue to get snow through tonight and tomorrow, so if you're really thirsty for snow, you could take a drive up just a couple of hours. Places like Boone, Beach Mountain, they have it, and they're going to continue to see that for this weekend. So for tonight, scattered snow showers east of Greensboro. Not a guarantee, it's just a chance. Heading into tomorrow, it's cold. The sun comes out. It's in the low 40s, but it'll feel like the 30s with the wind. Sunday, Monday, some sunshine. It'll be around 50 both days, and we do get warmer again next week, and more rain is coming back Thursday and Tuesday.
Hey, check this out. A rare discovery in Europe could give the continent a big boost in the race for clean energy.
Deep in northern Sweden, above the Arctic Circle, miners have struck what some would consider gold.
By far the largest deposit of REEs in Europe.
REEs are rare earth elements, crucial components of electronics, used in products from smartphones and computer hard drives to elevators and trains. The valuable metals are also key in renewable technology like wind turbines and electric cars.
Rare earth elements are needed for all electric vehicles that we are so interested in seeing more of in the future.
Swedish leaders say the discovery of more than 1 million tons of the material could put Europe on a faster path to clean energy.
It is a significant happening which can play a key role in securing a green transition.
It could also reduce Europe's reliance on China, as 98% of rare earth metals used in the European Union are imported from there.
Are we talking 5 years, 10 years?
But it will be a while before the material hits the market. LKAB, the company that made the find, says permits and approvals could hold mining up for at least a decade. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Now, the only rare earths mine in the U.S. is in California, but Texas and Wyoming are working on projects to extract the valuable minerals. As a kid, I was so interested in geology because it's incredible to me that under our feet, way down, are just some like wild things. A lot of, I mean, so far down that we haven't ever seen it or experienced it.
Sure. Have you ever been in a mine before? Maybe that's not the right word, but like a cavern?
I've been in a cave before.
Yes.
Not necessarily in mine, but I have been in a cave.
Those are pretty interesting when you get underneath the earth and they have the stalactites and the stalagmites, all
Yeah.
those kind of things. Very interesting to see. And a lot of people, you know, miners, they work down there extracting these things.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
It's just so beautiful. When I was a child, actually, I used to collect rocks like quartz and different things like that. As a kid, I was like, I have crystals.
Yeah.
But then as I got older, I learned that they weren't necessarily crystals. But when I would go to different museums on field trips, I made sure that I would get a little rock. And even in my jewelry box at home, I still have some of those different rocks.
I have a family member who traveled to Antarctica one time, which is a really cool trip to do. You got to go all the way down to the South Pole, basically. And she brought us back some rocks. So I have some
nice.
rocks from Antarctica
really
in my
cool.
house. It's just kind of a
That's
neat little,
really neat.
little souvenir. There's no gift shop in Antarctica.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
All right, we'll be right back. People across the globe reacted yesterday after we learned Lisa Marie Presley died. Just hours prior, she'd been rushed to a hospital in cardiac arrest. The only child of Elvis and Priscilla Presley was 54 years old. She was married 4 times, including to Michael Jackson and Nicolas Cage. Presley was last seen in public on Tuesday at the Golden Globes, where she saw Austin Butler win Best Actor for playing her father in the movie Elvis. She'll be buried alongside her son in Graceland. I obviously we don't know how she has died yet, but I mean, boy, to be able to see somebody accept an award for playing her father in a movie, and then she passes 2 days later. I'm glad she was able to see that.
I'm glad she was able to see it too. It was such a great movie, and she comes from such a prestigious family. They're basically rock and roll royalty. Very sad to see she's passed. She was so young, 54, but just hearts and prayers out to the family, and also her fans. She came out with several albums during her time and just had a big impact on the community.
And I have to admit, there were so many things about her that I had no idea about and didn't know until yesterday once we saw, you know, some of the obituary stories come out.
Married to Michael Jackson and Nicolas Cage. I did not know that.
She had a music career. I mean, just a lot of things that we didn't know.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back. Good afternoon and welcome back to your 4 to 5. I'm Chad Silver here with Lauren Coleman. Tim Buckley is out in the weather garden doing what Tim Buckley does in the weather garden.
Out in the weather garden where it's cold, but Tim, at least we're not dealing with all that rain we had yesterday.
Yes, the good news is that the weather is not trying to hurt us today. We're all going to be just fine, but it is changing quite a bit. You might have noticed if you've been outdoors, it's starting to drop in temperature quite a bit. The wind is blustery. The air is getting drier. You're going to need to use that lotion and the chapstick yet again. Here's what we have right now. Partly to mostly cloudy skies in Greensboro. And as we go into the next couple of days, I really think that we're going to see that cold weather taking over. One place where it really looks like winter again is Beach Mountain. Take a look. This this is a live view. All these people are enjoying the slopes right now, the snowboarders, the skiers. It's just a nice day for that. They're getting some real snow to complement a lot of the snow that they're able to make up there on a regular basis. This is called a northwest flow. When we have winds coming out of the northwest, they get the snow, but then that air goes down the mountain, it descends a few thousand feet, and it dries up. So we don't really get in the same action. However, as we go into tonight, there's going to be a new little system that kind of rotates into North Carolina. It is possible, as temperatures drop from the 40s where they are now to the 30s later on this evening, that we could see a couple of scattered snow showers. You see that right here? Notice the time. This is around 11 o'clock tonight. From Reedsville, Yanceyville to East Greensboro to Burlington and Raleigh, this area might be able to pick up a couple of fun little snow showers. Wouldn't amount to much of anything because it's above freezing at the ground, but still 11 p.m. to 4 a.m. if you are a night owl, take a look at the window every now and again. You might be able to see snowflakes for the first time this winter, and it's been a tough winter. I know that. I hear how much people really would like some snow. So I'm not in the business of getting your hopes up, but just letting you know there's about a 30% chance of that happening if you live in those areas. Now, elsewhere, we have a dry weekend on the way. Temperatures will be around 30 tomorrow morning and only around 40 for tomorrow afternoon. We'll have sunshine throughout the day. It's breezy and it is cold. This number right here, that's your wind chill. It'll feel like the 30s all day long. So bundle up if you're out and about. It is going to be one of those cold winter days that we haven't had a lot of recently. Upper 40s for Sunday, low 50s and mid 50s Monday into Tuesday.
This morning, parts of the southern U.S. are starting to sift through the wreckage of a deadly bout of late-season tornadoes. Historic Selma, Alabama, taking the hardest hit. At least 7 deaths are being blamed on the storm. Meanwhile, out west, residents are trying to dry out and repair before another round of wet weather dumps even more rain in the area.
Oh my God.
Selma, Alabama, smack dab in the middle of a line of more than 30 deadly suspected tornadoes that ripped through the South Thursday.
They tore off the chimney, flipped the car. I mean, it's bad down here, like Louisiana. It's bad.
Dozens of homes and buildings, now piles of rubble and mangled metal. One twister pulling off the roof at a small-town medical center.
Unfortunately, that's the area where most of our patients are.
Ominous clouds floated over Atlanta, where a tornado delayed multiple flights. Tornado sirens blared in central Kentucky. The sweeping storms in the south come as the wary, already drenched West Coast prepares for even more rain.
The stress is draining.
Weeks of water have left fields and neighborhoods flooded. In Northern California, a woman's body found in submerged water. Near the town of Spreckles, south of San Francisco, the Salinas River could crest at 25 feet by this morning. It was at 6 feet just a week ago.
And I think our public forgets that, how dangerous the Salinas River actually can be.
More intense storms are predicted for California starting this weekend and aren't expected to let up on the West Coast until later next week.
At least 18 deaths are being attributed to the storms in California since they started the final week of 2022. The one somewhat silver lining in all of this, nearly every California area that had been categorized as being in extreme drought no longer holds that designation. Still, nearly half of the state remains in severe drought.
Let's get to your 4 to 5 roundup now. First up today, traffic changes start today to get ready to open the last section of the Greensboro Urban Loop. North Elm Street traffic coming from Pisgah Road will be able to use the new permanent loop ramp to access I-840 West. The ramp is set to open today so contractors can make a lane shift that'll help complete the final portion of the loop. The final section of the 49-mile loop will open in 10 days. The name-changing process for Fort Bragg has officially started. It'll now be called Fort Liberty. Last year, a committee approved renaming the base and separating the Fort Bragg name because of its Confederate ties. Agencies have until the end of the year to complete the process. Monster Jam is in Greensboro this weekend. You might have seen our Christian Morgan out there this morning getting the inside scoop on all the fun. You can see the huge trucks up close, meet your favorite drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and enjoy other family-friendly activities. Monster Jam kicks off tomorrow at the Greensboro Coliseum.
Walk in Dr. King's legacy, decades of leadership, community service, and a message of unity. You can continue Dr. King's work and give back to those in need. The Beta Iota Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated is hosting the MLK Freedom Walk in Greensboro today. The sorority, which is rooted in service, is celebrating Dr. King's legacy with a paper goods and gift card food drive to support children experiencing homelessness in Guilford County.
We do ask the participants to bring paper products, food gift cards to donate, actively donate. So they'll be using their hands and feet to place items in trucks.
It brings the whole community together. We have young adults, children, all the way to senior citizens. We all get together for one cause. And I do believe that is one of the visions that Dr. King had for us.
And now, correction here, that MLK Freedom Walk is on Monday, not today. It will take place on Monday, and you can use the Martin Luther King holiday as a day on this Monday at the MLK Freedom Walk. You can register for free at Shelter 1 in Greensboro Country Park. Please consider donating paper towels, toilet paper, diapers, sanitary napkins, or food gift cards. We have more information on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
I love that so many groups get together and use it as a day of service.
That's what King was all about. It was all about unity and doing what was great for the greater good of the people. So I love seeing all the different organizations come out, whether it's cleaning up a street, going for a walk, or just, you know, volunteering at your local pantry. There's so many great things that you can do on this day.
And it doesn't have to be time consuming or difficult. I mean, if you think about it, you could just get your church involved, or even if you have a large family, get them all involved and make like an annual event out of it.
And what I like is, even though this is one day, this is something that you can do throughout the year, even if it's once a month. You know, if you're going to one of these events, feel inspired to host your own walk or host your own give back or food drive or something you can do.
I noticed you changed your voice a little bit when you said Alpha Kappa Alpha.
Oh, you know, Alpha Kappa Alpha. And our Founders Day is definitely coming up as well. But yeah, shout out to our sorors for doing the great work that we do here in this community.
And we will be right back.
Hey. That sounds good too. I could do with some ice cold beer and popcorn, but we're going to kind of do the cookie thing just because, you know, it's the perfect combination. All right, it is teeth-chattering weather. No getting around it. Tomorrow's going to be cold all day and windy too. So here's the talking point. Is it true or false that you can catch a cold by not dressing warmly enough? What do you think about this?
I think it all depends on the person you're asking, their age.
I was always told to wear a hat when it was cold outside. Like as a kid, my
Right,
parents
that's
would
a
be
mom
like,
thing
put
for
a hat
sure.
on.
Right.
You're gonna get sick.
You're gonna catch a cold.
That's right, if you don't dress warmly enough. Well, could mom be wrong? Well,
being cold itself won't make you sick. Viruses, however, will, by causing respiratory tract infections.
in fact, there are more than 200 viruses that can spread a cold. Any one of them can be more likely to spread in wintertime as people spend more time indoors and then do the things that we do, like touch things and then touch our nose, our mouth, our eyes. You see, the mucus in our nose is there to protect us, but in the winter,
low humidity in heated environments can cause the lining in our noses to become drier, which makes it easier for the germs to invade the body.
all right, so it's the heat that you got on.
Okay.
The proximity of the people who have a bug that makes us sick, not really going outside without that hat on.
So you're saying I can go outside with shorts and a t-shirt and I won't get sick?
Well,
You could get hypothermia, I suppose.
Well, that's different than getting a cold.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will say this. There is a correlation between our immune systems being good and when our body temperature is at a consistent rate.
Okay.
So if you're going to be like thinking to yourself, well, I'm just going to go out in the cold and I'm just going to stand out in the cold for a little while, right? And then you're going to go back in and it's going to be really, really warm. You're not keeping your body at a consistent
Kind of go into
rate.
shock a little bit.
Right, and that's going to weaken your immune system because your body's having to keep yourself warm and do all that kind of stuff. So there is something to
I'll
that.
continue to bundle up then.
Could you imagine if
Yes.
you would have said all of those exact words to your mom when she said, put a coat on, you're
She
going to
would
catch
have just given me that look and said, girl, don't play with me.
That's right.
Come inside and put the hat on.
That's right. So here's something that you should do at home, though. You should have a humidifier. And that's because it moistens the air and it keeps that nasal lining from drying out and from getting that sickness to be able to get into your nasal passages easy.
When I was a child, I used to have to sleep with the humidifier because I would get
Yes.
nosebleeds. I would wake up in the middle of the night like with blood all over myself. So my parents put a humidifier in my room and that started to decrease.
I actually learned something from Justin Bieber.
What?
So he has a humidifier
The Biebs.
that just blows the air right
Yes.
on him while he's sleeping.
Right.
And so I started doing that.
And your voice sounds great.
Thank you. Thank you.
La, la, la,
Do I
la.
sound like
Let's hear a
Justin
little
Bieber?
song, little
Baby. No, okay.
Okay, on to the health news.
All right. Hey, if you're tired and uninspired by your workout routine, we have a closer look at the latest fitness trend that'll take you to new heights.
Aerobics class is taking on a whole new meaning.
It's not your typical just going on the treadmill or just doing your own little workout at the gym.
It's called Bungee Fitness, and it's going to have you bouncing and soaring.
You can smile, laugh, scream, having all the fun you want, and 45 minutes of cardio just passes by.
Sean Lynn owns and instructs at this fitness center in Los Angeles. She says the workout is high intensity and low impact cardio. Students get support from the harness at the waist and the bungee cord attached to the ceiling, which is easy on the knees and joints. The classes involve resistance training mixed with cardio.
You need to introduce some movement to your body. And then we move towards build little heart rate going. So we add a little more cardio, but slowly but safely. And finally, towards the end of the class, you're going to be flying.
And it's gaining popularity. Bungee fitness studios are opening around the country. Lim says safety is a top priority.
You need to feel safe enough to practice, especially when you're using bungee harness, which is attached to the ceiling. So before you go ahead, we check the security first.
Stephanie Garcia says the experience is great for the mind and body.
It's very fun because you're with a group of people, you're all doing the same thing, and it's just, even if it's something that you don't do every day, it's a great hobby to get mobility going.
A fun, challenging workout if you're willing to take the leap. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And experts say workouts that are easier on your joints and knees are especially good for us as we age. Pretty cool thing to see. I had really only ever heard of this first when I was in Charleston for the new year, and we went to a Firehouse Subs, and right next door in the strip mall they had one of these classes going on. You could see them while they were doing it. And I was just amazed at it because I'd just never seen it before.
I'd never seen this before either. It's just so interesting how so many different type of new workouts become a thing, like Pure Barre became a thing.
Right.
Now this Bungee thing became a thing. People do yoga with goats on their backs. But this looks like a lot of fun. Definitely looks like a good workout there. And it just looks like jumping on a trampoline, kind of like gives you that same feeling as a kid.
And I think that I would imagine this would be good if you didn't really have good coordination. You know, like people who aren't good dancers, maybe, because it just kind of keeps you in a rhythm while you're doing it.
And keeps you in place. I like how they talked about being good on your joints, because you know a lot of times people can't always run. That's not always an option, or going on the treadmill is not always an option because of your joints. So if you do have some type of medical issue, this is a good, alternative to
And then
that.
it'll get you ready for skydiving, right?
Or bungee jumping off of for real. I don't know. I think I'm gonna stay like in the studio
Stay
if I
on the
do
ground for that
anything with bungee jumping in it.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. We got ourselves a Friday. We got ourselves a weekend on the way, and most of this week has been warmer than average by a good bit. That's over with now. We're starting to see colder weather moving our way, and something we haven't seen much of all year long are snow showers moving into North Carolina. It's been coming down in much of the mountains this afternoon, really from this morning, so they've had some accumulation up that way. Now for us, it's always harder than in the mountains to get snowfall. We know that. That's part of our climate here. But there is a little chance tonight that some parts of central North Carolina could get some fun scattered snow showers. I'll show you this image that might not look like much of anything to you, but what it is, it's kind of a X-ray of the atmosphere. We call it the water vapor image, and it shows us how the air is moving. See this little swirl right here by Atlanta? That swirl is just strong enough to add a little energy to our atmosphere in North Carolina. And that low pressure area coming up our way, it should kick off just a couple of scattered showers overnight. But temperatures are falling into the 30s. It'll be cold enough for snow to fall from the sky, mainly around the Raleigh area, but some of it could be as close to us as Alamance County, Chatham County, parts of eastern Guilford, or even parts of Rockingham County as well. There's a look right here. This is around 11 o'clock tonight. Notice a couple scattered snow showers. That's Raleigh, that's Burlington, Danville, Siler City, East Greensboro. It might linger for a couple of hours. It's not a guarantee though. It's only a chance. So just like we say in the summertime, there's a chance of rain. Well, this is just a chance, a couple snow showers. Hopefully you get some. I just can't really get your hopes up too much because it's not a sure thing. Now, if you do want to see snow guaranteed, gas up the car, head up to the mountains this weekend because they have been getting some today. They'll be getting more tomorrow. It's mostly those higher elevations and the western slopes. Roads are slick up there, so you have to be really careful. But if you're desperate, that is an easy opportunity to kind of make some effort and go get some winter for you. For tonight, it is getting cold. We're down to 28 degrees. Scattered snow showers are possible. We don't say this much, but it's a possibility. We'll see what happens. Hopefully you get a couple fun flakes looking out the window between 11 and 4 east of Greensboro. For tomorrow, it's cold, and 42 doesn't sound that bad, but when you have winds at 30 to 30 miles per hour at times, it's going to feel much colder than that. Sunday, sunny, no issues, 49. Martin Luther King holiday on Monday, 52 degrees, and we are warming up heading into next week. There will be some chances of rain again Tuesday and Thursday.
New data shows grocery store prices are up nearly 12% from last January. Cheaper store brand items can save you money, but how do they compare? A survey from Consumer Reports found 43% of shoppers never choose cheaper store brands or only buy them on occasion, even though they can cost up to 72% less. Consumer Reports tested 70 store brand products and found 76% of them, so 3 out of 4, tasted just as good as the name brand and were obviously much less. I'm kind of split on this. Some things I can only buy name brand, other things I'm more willing to buy store brand. Store brand, yeah.
I feel the same way. Like my ranch, it has to be Ken's Ranch.
Okay.
But then, you know, maybe balsamic vinegar, that can be the, what's Walmart's brand? The Great Value brand or something. But certain things do slightly taste different to me.
I am a Heinz ketchup person through and through. I don't want Hunt's. I don't want Food Lion. I want Heinz ketchup. And same thing for like if I want Diet Coke, it is that, and it is not the store brand. Otherwise, I'm open. Yeah. I'll do the cheaper one more often than not.
Especially when it comes to like canned vegetables and different things like that. Sure. I'll do the store brand, but also when it comes to products that are non-food related, like my toilet paper, my cleaning products, I like to stick to the brands that I like. Yeah. But you know, I don't really mind the store brands these days.
The Charmin, you're right.
Yeah, Charmin, cha-cha-cha Charmin. I have to get the red one too. That is my thing.
But like eggs, for example, especially right now because the price of eggs is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't even, whatever is cheapest. Do you ever try any of the other types of eggs that you see?
You mean like brown eggs versus white eggs?
Duck eggs?
Or quail eggs. Those are usually even more expensive, so I'm not usually looking in that direction.
Is it weird that those different types of eggs just kind of weird me out? Like,
really?
I'm okay with they come out of a chicken, but not out of fill in the blank other animal.
I'm not always the most adventurous, so if it's something I haven't tried, I'm not used to it, I might be a little skittish.
So you stick to like your chicken, your
I know.
steak, you're not gonna eat deer.
That's right.
Or squirrel,
I love venison,
or rabbit, or raccoon, or what's some
or whatever. We're getting the wrap. All right, we gotta go. We'll be back.
Bye.
Been somewhere where they sold them. Ah!
You're welcome. Hey there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi there, as well as a former FBI agent about.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. TikTok is.
Did y'all hear me? Okay. Where am I at? Y'all know?
Hey, it's time for my 2 cents, and today I want to talk about Google searches. We all do it every day, right? All the time. But the top Google searches for the year of 2022, I went back and looked this up. Here they are in order. Wordle, election results, Betty White, Queen Elizabeth, and Bob Saget. So on the surface, I look at that and go, oh yeah, I know, those are all very popular things. And the 3 celebrities that we lost, I understand why people searched it. But then I looked at it and I said, wait a minute. Election results. That's important stuff, right? That's us picking the people that we want to represent us in laws and money and finances and the budgets and all those very important things. That's very important. But when I looked at it as a whole, those 5 things, 3 were celebrities. 1 is a game we play on our phones, Wordle, and then the other one was the elections. I feel like that, can we flip those top 2? Maybe elections are a little bit more important than the Wordle of the day. I get it, I do play Wordle, and I did probably search all those celebrities because I hated that we lost them all, expected or not expected. But it did put things to perspective, right? Maybe we should examine ourselves a little bit, and maybe next year some more important things will be number 1, and then we can go on to the other things. But I have to admit, I do love Wordle. Shh, don't tell anybody. That's just my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
North Carolina is the latest state to take a stand against TikTok. A former FBI agent explains why this app could be a danger to state workers.
Tax season is almost here. The changes you need to know about before you file.